Is there anything you would advise somebody who is new to Product Hunt and going through their first launch?
I think the first thing I'd say is don't try to cheat, in the sense there is no way to go past the actual reaching out as a human. So don't use bots and all of that. They just cancel those out anyway. So the community is really amazing. So once you actually start engaging with them, they're really helpful. They actually come back to you. They do give you feedback. They are also quite interesting. So you end up talking to some people. That's how we met. So they're a really helpful community and very useful to reach out yourself. The first time you're starting out, that community can be a little daunting to get involved in. What we did the first time around is we reached out to 100 people per day for a month. So from the day we basically launched our coming soon page, from that day onwards, we made sure that at least at the time we were only 2 people working on the product hunt launch. And at that point, we were just reaching out consistently, 100 people every day. And by the end of the month, we had about 400 people who hit the notify me page at that time. And that converted quite well. We came fifth on our first try, which I think is not bad. And we also launched on a horrible day last time around. It was quite crazy last time around. There were 4 companies that hit almost 1,000 on the day we launched. And I think one of them had about 50 million in funding. One of them was YC. It was chaos. But those things happen. You'll have days when, OpenAI launches something and someone else launches something. And I don't think that really matters at the end. I think after everything, how many people end up commenting and actually giving you feedback and interacting really does help. And you'll notice that your website traffic increases so drastically on those days. It's crazy. So there are lots of benefits, but you got to just consistently really reach out. And then, of course, go into the groups, there are lots of groups on every platform, starting with WhatsApp to LinkedIn to Facebook. There's so many, Discord, Slack. It helps you talk to everyone there. Just reach out to people. That's it. There's really no way around that.
It's good advice. And you chose not to use an influencer both times. Or did you use an influencer the first time?
We didn't. When you say influencer, I'm assuming you mean a hunter?
Oh, sorry, a hunter. Yeah, you chose not to use a hunter.
I think what we wanted to do is long-term use Product Hunt to launch. So for us to build that base ourselves was also important. So we sacrificed any immediate benefit we might have gotten from getting someone else to hunt to build that ourselves. So it made this time much easier in many senses, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's perhaps the right choice if you've got a long-term view.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're testing, you're trying, or perhaps with your background as well, you've got confidence to go out and speak to people. Some people lack that, so they might think, I only have to talk to one person to do this. And then you see it because, like you mentioned, YC, I've seen a few companies from them launch and not do very well, really. I think that they've had an influence come and do it and expected we're in YC, perhaps it's just going to be easy. And it's not, because the Product Hunt community doesn't necessarily respect anybody more than the next one. It's, if you reached out to me to have a look at your product, I'll go and have a look at it. I like it, I'll give it a vote and I'll leave a comment. If I don't, I won't.
Yeah.
So even though you're putting that work in, it's more direct advertising as opposed to actually convincing everybody to upvote, because they don't do it. I've had people ask me to upvote something and I don't. I can't see how it would be useful, so I won't do it. When other times I've upvoted something that I saw in the morning, and then they've reached out in the afternoon anyway.
Yep.
Do you know? So it's as much as it's a lot of hard work, there's no guarantees from doing it. If you don't build a good product that people like, then you won't end up at the top anyway. And if you don't put the work in, you're definitely not getting there.
Absolutely.
It's good advice.
You brought up a point. Another really important part about Product Hunt launches is not to ask for upvotes. For one, there will be someone who will report you at some point, so just don't do it. And also, it's not right. You're not asking for upvotes. You're asking for some support. You're asking for maybe take a look at what we're doing and see if there's any feedback that you might have. But anything, again, as I said, don't cheat. So they have a very clear rule about not asking for upvotes, so don't ask for upvotes.
Yeah, there was a company I saw last week or the week before, and I felt sorry for them a little bit because I think I've mentioned it other times on the podcast, so I need to not be too repetitive with it. But they came sixth, and they were at the time when I'd upvoted them, they were second, and they'd reached out to me about a month before, so they'd put the groundwork in, and then something happened during the day, and they just tanked. They disappeared off the no longer featured, and then they went from a realistic fight for first or second place to finishing sixth, and they'd only had about 20 more votes after they disappeared towards the end. And I don't know if they tried to ask everybody to upvote them. The English wasn't the first language, so they might have communicated the sentiment in the wrong way. Sometimes you don't know if it's an honest mistake or if it's somebody being dishonest and wanting to game the system. But I did feel sorry for them, but I'm sure they'll be back again, and hopefully they don't ask for votes next time, or perhaps pay for them. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that through the day because there's sudden spirals where upvotes vanish. It
Yeah,
happens to everyone. I think to some degree, you can't control who's upvoting. And in some cases, I
yeah.
think random people do upvote. So we see one or two sort of drop offs in our case too. And we know for a fact that we've not used anything. But yeah, there are certain, if you look at the trajectories, you see some full cliffs in their upvotes. So you understand what's going on. Maybe someone reports them. I don't really know how that works. But yeah, for sure, cheating does not go well on Product Hunt. That seems quite clear.
I think the worst part as well is if you like you cheat and you get yourself first of the day, and then maybe top 5, 10 of the week or whatever. You're in a position where you're trying to use that as a social proof to help customers come to your platform later on. But when somebody's parting with money and they've not had the discount from you, they're in a position then where they're going to say, actually, this tool's not very good. I'm not going to renew my subscription anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know? So you've led yourself and given yourself some false positives that realistically will do more harm than good. And people do it for whatever reasons they do it.
Yeah. And also, what's the point? What's the point of getting anybody aside from real people onto your platform? Who's it going to
Maybe it
help?
feels nice. It might be nicer looking at a full Google Analytics dashboard than an empty one.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, other than that, I can't see it myself.